Can understanding geography change how you read the Bible? There's a very interesting story in the Gospel of John where Jesus heals somebody that is almost 20 miles away from where he is. In John chapter 4, very near to the beginning of Christ's earthly ministry, Jesus has returned back to Cana, the place where he performed his first miracle at the wedding feast by turning water into wine. The text tells us that there's a certain royal official whose son is laying sick at Capernaum. Now, here is where geography will really help you to understand a few hidden things in the story. See, Capernaum is directly on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, but laying between it and Cana are two significant ridge lines, with the tallest of them being Mount Arbel, a 1,200-foot mountain. To walk from Capernaum to Canaan is about a 9-hour walk because of the climb up out of the Sea of Galilee that's about 700 feet below sea level, up the ridges and out into the plateaus near Cana. So when you read that the official from Capernaum hears that Christ has returned back from Jerusalem into Galilee, he goes to him and begs for Christ to come down and heal my child. You first understand that to get to Jesus, it was a tremendous hike. 9 hours of climbing and walking uphill to find Jesus. It says later in the story that he talks with Jesus around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This official must have gotten up really early, set off before daylight to go and find Jesus. And this is long before cell phones and instant connection to find out if Jesus is even still where he was last said to be. So this official was probably hustling. He's trying to make sure he gets to see Jesus before he leaves, and more importantly, get there before his son dies in Capernaum. He finally gets a chance to talk to Jesus and says, "Sir, come down before my child dies. Hurry. It's all downhill from here. Yes, it took 9 hours for me to hike to find you, but due to the terrain, it's literally all downhill and only takes about 5 hours for the descent." So the official is pleading with Jesus. If we go now, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If we leave right now, we can get there before dark. A few verses earlier, it says that Christ had just returned from Passover in Jerusalem. So this means that it's the early springtime, and it gets dark very early in Israel in the spring. They would barely have enough time to get there before dark, but if they leave right away, they can make Capernaum before nightfall. These little details in the text, geography, what time of year it is, it shows you how urgent this request of the official to Christ is. If they leave right away, there's a chance that his son can be healed. Now, Jesus replies, "Go, your son will live. Go. Look at the time. Your son will live, but if you go right away, you can make it back to your son. Your son will live." Okay, let's stop here. Put ourselves into this story. What would you do? Would you believe Jesus? Would you have faith that what this rabbi said is true and your son would be healed? Would you leave immediately and hurry back to see if your son was healed? Would you run home as fast as you can? If Jesus didn't heal him, you still might be able to make it back in time to be beside him before he dies. Or if Jesus did heal him, would you want to go back and celebrate with him? Now, what did the official do? Did he leave right away? Now, it says in the next verse, while he was still on the way, his servants met him with the news that his boy was alive. When he inquired as to the time when his son got better, they said to him, "Yesterday at 1 in the afternoon, the fever left him." Then the father realized that this was the exact time at which Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live." So he and his entire household believed. But did you catch that one word? Yesterday. The official didn't leave right away to return back to his son. I think we get a glimpse at the power of meeting Jesus. Simply hearing Jesus tell him his son would live, the man, probably weary from his early morning hike to find Jesus, waits, rests up that afternoon, and returns home the following day, fully trusting that Jesus had healed his son. It was no longer urgent for him to get back home as quick as possible. On the way back down to Capernaum, he meets his servants hustling up the mountains, trying to find him and tell him that the good news that his son was healed. Now, personally, I love these little snippets we get about Jesus and his miracles. When you layer culture, geography, time of the years and the seasons, and these little details, these stories become full of meaning and depth. These details make it real. When you hike these trails, walk in their footsteps, the realness of the story impacts you in a way that empowers your faith in Jesus like never before. If you're interested in visiting Israel, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. We love to interact and provide any information possible, insights, answers, questions, to make it possible for you to also visit these amazing lands of the Bible.